And here is the circulation coming back here. That was actually a new scan that we just got on our radar, and so it's moved a little bit to the north and west. But if you are in Old Stage Road, you can see right along the Regalwood area, and then a little bit to the north. If you are in areas like Sandy Field, East Arcadia, right along where 11 connects, you can see here to Old Stage Road. You need to go ahead and get into your safe place right now. So this is a Doppler indicated tornado warning. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can get kind of a larger view of where this is in the Cape Fear. So it includes northeastern portions of Columbus County, southeastern portions of Bladen County, and that far southwestern tip of Pender County, and this is going to go through 8 o'clock this evening. You know, for the last hour, we've been watching cells that have been trying to rotate. These are tropical downpours, not terribly unusual on the east and northeast sides of these tropical cyclones to continue to see systems that spin up these rotating tornadoes. They tighten up pretty quickly. They oftentimes can produce, 10, 15 minutes of these tight rotations, and then they tend to weaken off a little bit. But what are you seeing over there, Summer?
That's right, Lee. I mean, in those rain bands associated with tropical storms, they really do produce some systems that can rotate really fast and spin up. So again, if you're just tuning in, we do have a tornado warning for parts of Bladen County, parts of Pender County, and parts of Columbus County as well until 8 p.m. And if you're looking at the velocity map, we can see that between where these reds and greens are meeting up is where we can see that there's that rotation, and this is again radar indicated. So in this tornado warning polygon, now is the time to get in your safe place. Shelter in a stable home, in a sturdy building, away from any windows. Be sure to be on the lowest level as well, so you don't want to be on your second floor. The bottom floor, if you have a basement, that's also a good location to be. And we're seeing these velocities where, again, there's that rotation, radar indicated, and looking at the debris, not too much coming up on the debris detector at the moment, which is a good sign. But again, in this polygon, anywhere in that polygon, there could be that tornado has the potential to rotate and touch the ground as it moves in that northwest direction at about 25 miles per hour. And Lee, this is the second one we saw today moving at 25 miles per hour. Earlier, we even had some about 35 and even up to 40 miles per hour. So
yeah, and they're associated with these very tropical downpours. Of course, these are rain-wrapped rotation areas that are possibly producing tornadoes. And if you come back over to Links 1, I think we're there. This is rotation detector. So this is where the strongest rotation is occurring. Remember, we're getting these scans every minute or two, but in particular, I want you to keep in mind that, well out ahead, so we're talking Cemetery Road, we're talking right General Howe Road, where Old Stage Highway connects to North Carolina 87 East, Wayman Road. In the Sandy Field area, you're going to be about 5 minutes out from getting this rotation in your area. So we have to watch those communities very closely as it moves to the northwest at around 25 miles per hour, which is fairly quick. It wasn't as quick as some of the tornado warnings that were earlier, but the latest scan puts it close to Armour. And you can see some of the communities that are very close to where some of that very intense rotation is occurring. And it just got a new scan, and so you can see it right there. You go, right, moving basically through Cemetery Road area, and some of these communities just to the east of that General Howe Highway area, and kind of zooming up, Narrow Gap Road. Out ahead of this system, take cover in all of these communities that we're kind of showing you out ahead of the main rotation field, because it's going to get to you pretty quickly. So just as a look at the full polygon, we have a tornado warning. This is in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. It includes portions of 3 counties, so if we kind of zoom it out, you'll be able to see. It includes northeastern Columbus County, portions of southeastern Bladen County, and then that far south and west tip of Pender County. This is until 8 o'clock, and we were showing you there shear rates. Anything new that you're seeing over from the Weather Service, Summer?
The Weather Service has not sent out another update. Still continuing 12 miles northeast of Leland, moving northwest at 25 miles per hour was their latest update.
Okay. So just as a reminder of some things that you should do if a tornado warning is issued, if you're in this polygon, and we may see a couple of more tornado warnings tonight, so that's something to keep in mind, that even if you're not in this tornado warning right now, remember tonight and a night that is going to produce torrential downpours, these feeder bands from Tropical Storm Debby that from time to time have been rotating and that from time to time can produce tornadoes. Quite honestly, they've had a history of producing tornadoes today in southeastern North Carolina. We had tornado damage in southern Sampson County. These can get really strong really quickly. I'm not saying this is gonna. Right now we're seeing Doppler indicated tornado signatures here, but we really want you to take this very, very seriously if you are in these communities. And you can kind of see, again, broadly taking shape in 3 different counties in our area, and it's more or less moving 25 miles per hour to the northwest and zooming in here just to the north of Armour, Old Stage Highway. It is very near General Howe Highway right now. So the connector between Old Stage Highway and General Howe Highway is where you really need to take cover right now, because that is approaching your area. If it's not there already, it's going to be there within a minute or two.
That's right, Lee. And we are under a tornado watch for the area, parts of really everyone except Bladen County at the moment. But again, this is a clear indicator that it does not mean because you're not under a tornado watch that a tornado cannot happen. So still under a tornado warning now in these areas until 8 p.m. But this tornado watch is going to continue through 11 tonight, and that we do still have the probability for tornadoes for the next couple days as Tropical Storm Debby is going to make landfall again tonight in South Carolina and bringing us more impacts here.
Yeah, that is right. And I just want to briefly also touch on this flooding threat that we have tonight, because we have the risk for significant flooding. We've been talking about this for days, about that risk for a very significant flooding event. Look at the heavy rain that is falling tonight. So this is potentially a rain-wrapped tornado that we've been showing you. We've been showing you the positions according to the velocity. We've been showing you the positions according to rotation detector. I just want to show how broad this rain shield is tonight. It's pouring from areas like Carolina Beach up into the Wilmington area, Wrightsville Beach, northern portions of Brunswick County, and Leland in northwest, spreading all the way up through a good bit of Columbus County, southern Bladen County, and then we have this rain-wrapped area that we're watching in essentially far northeastern Columbus County. This is to the east of Lake Waccamaw. So that circulation that we were watching near Lake Waccamaw earlier, this is not that one. This is the one that came out of northern Brunswick County, came into portions of northeast Columbus County, and now southwestern Pender County and southeastern Bladen County. So we just want everyone to be safe tonight. And if you're in this tornado warning polygon, please go ahead, get to your safe location. If you have the WWAY Storm Track 3 weather app, you can watch us live streaming. So you can take that phone, get to your safe place. It's on the lowest level of your home. You want to be away from windows. You want to be center part of the home, maybe a bathroom or maybe a hallway, something that gets as many walls between you and the outside. And so just ride this storm out there. Turn your TV set up higher so if you don't have that on your phone, you can at least hear us talking and kind of getting you through the storm. Let's see, any new update on position from this summer?
The National Weather Service still did not release another update on position. So as of the latest, it's still moving northwest at 25 miles per hour. And if we're looking at the velocity, we can see that it's right by that General Howe Highway, and areas like Woodward Road and Hoover Road as well, up towards Sandy Field. Those are areas that really need to be taking shelter if they haven't already. Shaw Road as well. And again, moving in that northwest direction. Another scan just came through, so still continuing to move in that northwest direction, around about 25 miles per hour as of the latest update from the National Weather Service.
Yeah, and I'm just glancing at this new scan that has come in, and the signature not quite as noticeable, but I do definitely see where there's rotation, and it appears to be pretty close to East Arcadia now. So I'm going to kind of zoom in here a little bit, and let's kind of show you exactly where this is. We think it's across General Highway, pretty close to Woodyard Road and then up into Hoover Road area. This is sort of the circulation center. Now, this was a scan that was taken 1 or 2 or 3 minutes ago. So if you're back up to the north and to the east of this, Graham Road, East Arcadia, you need to be in your safe place right now. Let's kind of look ahead. Buckhead, Ricefield, you perhaps may be a little bit south of the rotation center as it kind of heads up towards the northeast and perhaps toward you can see on the far end of this tornado warning box up here, Zara. But East Arcadia, let's kind of, actually I'll kind of draw a little line here to show you. Let's see. This would be sort of the broad view of where that rotation is. See the reds kind of moving away from the radar. Greens kind of moving toward the radar, and here is the broad look at the circulation just a couple of minutes ago. So National Weather Service issuing a tornado warning. We've been tracking some decently tight rotation with this. As of now, we don't have a confirmed tornado. We have a Doppler indicated tornado, but you need to go ahead and be in your safe place as we approach the next 5 minutes, and I'm going to kind of zoom out of this and show forward, looking ahead. Relatively rural portion of the county up here. So, but it's north of Ricefield and Buckhead, and kind of zooming in, Smith Road, Graham Road, San Domingo Road. These are some of the communities and roads that are out ahead. Even probably 5 or 10 minutes up to the road, Brighton Road, Baltimore Road. So these are areas that are potentially in the path of this rotating tropical downpour that has developed and continues to track northwest, last check, around 25 miles per hour.
That's right, Lee. And I do want to note that looking at the velocity, it does, as you had mentioned before, it does look a little spacious at this point. It has broadened a bit, but that does not mean the threat still is not there. So there's still that threat for the tornado until 8 p.m. per the National Weather Service, and this could tighten back up at any time. That's what these tropical storms do in these outer bands. They spin up really fast, so it has the potential to tighten back up in just a matter of minutes, Lee.
We are seeing a lot of heavy rain. If you're watching us from pretty much most areas of the Cape Fear, you are getting bands of very heavy rain from Tropical Storm Debby. Debby is going to make landfall later tonight along the central to northern coast of South Carolina, and we're going to continue to see these heavy rain bands move in, and we're on that northern and that sort of northeast quadrant of this system, and this is often where you see these spin up tornadoes. You can get these tropical downpours starting to rotate, and this is exactly what we're seeing tonight. Even over the last hour or two, we've been watching these spinning couplets in the atmosphere that have had the ability to produce a tornado, but just haven't quite gotten themselves together to produce the rotation needed to produce a tornado. But again, we're keeping this one area in mind that we have some pretty good rotation, perhaps not as strong as when we initially saw this tornado warning issued, but tornado warning till 8 o'clock. It's 7:41 now, so this tornado warning is going to continue for another 19 minutes. It includes kind of zooming out just a little bit so you can see it. As you kind of look across the big picture here, it encompasses northeastern portions of Columbus County, southwestern Pender County, and then at least a small to decent chunk of southeastern Bladen County. And we've been seeing that rotation moving northwest at around 25. So I have reflectivity on. Now I want to flip over to base velocity, and we're going to zoom in and see what we see here. So sort of broad rotation here. It might be a little bit tough to see exactly where the center of this perhaps is. I want to draw in the area that we really need to go ahead and take cover. And actually, if you're out ahead of this in areas like Zarro and Kelly, Carvers, Red Hill, Baltimore, and Council, all these communities that are out ahead of this rotation, you need to go ahead and get into your safe space just to be on the safe side. Council, Carvers, you're not under the tornado warning, but you're just outside of it. But in case this rotation holds on, it may be heading your way. But let me draw in, this would be the area that I'm kind of mostly keeping an eye on for that potential rotation as it's tracking off to the northwest at around 25 miles per hour. And we can kind of zoom in a little bit here. North Carolina Highway 87 East, Brighton Road, you're right out ahead of this. And this is toward the back end of the box, the tornado warning polygon. Corey Road, these are areas that are going to be under the gun for, at the minimum, strong gusty winds and heavy rain, and this potential tightening up of this system that could produce a tornado.
That's right, and it is worth noting, Lee, that we had mentioned before, I know you had definitely mentioned it, but the radar delay. So some of these areas, like you're mentioning, great idea to already be taking shelter out ahead of this storm, because what we're showing you is actually a little bit of a delay, about a minute or two. So areas that Lee had mentioned are really great idea to take shelter. And if we look at the correlation coefficient showing us the debris, there's not much out there, which is, again, still a great sign. For this just tells us that if there's debris in the air, it'll pick it up on this sensor and alert us. So again, great sign that there's no debris being lifted out there right now, which would be a good indication of a tornado. But still, out on the velocity, that reds and greens showing us that rotation, and it is radar indicated. It has weakened a little bit from when it started, but it's still out there. Can't let our guard down now, as this tornado warning is still expected and continuing through 8 p.m. Lee.
Yeah, continue to stay in your safe places here. If you're in this tornado warning polygon, which runs until 8 o'clock tonight, perhaps the velocities, the storm not quite as strong as it was 10, 15 minutes ago, but as long as the tornado warning remains in effect from the National Weather Service, there is still a threat for this rotating storm to produce damage, and that's what we want you to keep in mind tonight. And besides that, this is a night where we're seeing lots and lots and lots of rain on top of this potential for rotating storms. Right now, there's only one tornado warning in the Cape Fear, and it is this one, which encompasses northeastern Columbus County, southwestern portions of Pender County, into, let's just say, the southeastern quarter of Bladen County. Rotation is still not quite as certainly as intense as before. You kind of zoom in. Here's your rotation detector showing some weak rotation north of Buckhead, potentially toward Zarro. I've been talking about that. And then up here, right along the river, northeast Highway 87 East, east of San Domingo Road. There's Natmore Road right here, so you can see that kind of running from northwest to southeast. That is our shear rates and our rotation detector. I want to flip back to what is our base velocity. So we're showing you different products that the radar produces, from reflectivity, which is just the rain falling and the signatures of that, to this is what we call a look inside the storm. And so when you see the greens, you know that the winds are coming in toward the radar, and reds are indicating where the winds are going away from the radar. And now the latest sort of signature that we have some rotation is on that southwestern portion of the tornado warning polygon. See where these reds are and where these greens are. So just north of Buckhead, just north of Ricefield, east of North Carolina 211. Let's zoom in and show you. Again, this is rather rural here. You can kind of see the farm fields in this very high resolution map here, so you can almost see underneath this. But there's your rotation, and it is going to be approaching Corey Road very quickly. Cord Road, Cord Road, very shortly. And it will be interesting to see what the Weather Service does here. We have 13 minutes left in this tornado warning. Still seeing signatures on velocity that we have some rotation on top of just blinding rain. This is a rain-wrapped potential tornado, and that's the way these are going to go tonight, Summer. We're going to see these periodic areas of rotation. So everybody in the Cape Fear, even if you're not in this tornado warning polygon, everybody needs to stay very vigilant. And if you're in a tornado warning at some point tonight, definitely take cover.
That's right, Lee. And we've been tracking this for really all day now, and we're continuing to see little pockets that just keep popping up where it looks like there could be some rotation. And at times they look pretty broad, and then other times they look pretty strong. So once that tornado warning is issued by the National Weather Service, we'll be cutting right back in for anywhere in the Cape Fear, as this is really a crucial thing. Tornadoes are really powerful storms. So we will be cutting in if there is tornado warning issued by the National Weather Service, and we do expect a little bit more activity tonight as we're continuing to see even just some weak rotation here and there around the Cape Fear, really all over. We've seen some along the coast today, Lee. We've seen some in inland communities, and right now seeing that tornado warning in three of our counties, parts of our counties at the moment.
So on Links 1, I put up the reflectivity, and it is absolutely torrentially pouring in this tornado warning area. So, of course, that means that this tornado, this potential tornado that has been indicated by Doppler radar is absolutely rain wrapped. And so this is why it's very important when you see these tornado warnings, and in particular in this case where it's just rain is so heavy right now. Most everybody tonight, if you can just kind of hunker down, because there's going to be risks for flash flooding tonight in addition to these isolated tornado warnings that are going to crop up. This is the first one we've had this evening. There may be more to come depending upon how these rotating cells organize themselves. If they stay together as they do over land, they peak up, then they kind of slow down a little bit in terms of their couplet strength. But again, we continue with this tornado warning. It is up until 8 o'clock. We want everybody that is in this warning area, which continues. The warning area is northeastern parts of Columbus County, southwestern Pender County. I just took a look. I didn't see anything new from the Weather Service, so we may, be holding on to this. It'd be interesting to see if they move this box along a little bit and move the tornado warning up. But that's the radar image. Here's velocity, kind of a broad picture of rotation just on the back end of this. So Buckhead, just north of you, just west of Council. Council, go ahead and get in. You're not technically under the warning, but the rotation is close enough to you. I would, go ahead and just get into your safe place and just to be on the safe side. There's Baltimore up here. They're a little bit south of the circulation center. Cord Road, we mentioned them a little bit ago. The circulation's pretty close by. Looking out ahead, where the storm is going to be heading next, where this possible rotation could be, it's toward Council, following along North Carolina Highway 211 into South Elwell Ferry Road. Here we go, got a new scan here. And so, kind of keeping an eye on that little area there, and also kind of moving back here with some strong winds around Brighton Road, 87, a continuation of North Elwell Ferry Road to the north, and again, very, very gusty winds North Carolina Highway 53E as well.
Yeah, these winds, even just like Lee was saying, to the north and east are really quite strong in some of these areas, and that's what really we've been seeing all day. We've been seeing these strong winds, and some of these are tightening up a bit, and that's why they're issuing these tornado warnings. So right now, again, those areas outside of that tornado warning, close to Council and North Carolina Highway 211 East, those areas are also that's where the rotation is headed right now. So even though you're not in a tornado warning, it may still be the best call. Play it on the safe side and get into your shelter in that interior part of your house, or wherever you're at in that stable structure And be sure to stay inside and don't go out there to try to see it or anything. Just definitely stay indoors, stay sheltered, as this is really a crucial weather event, and this is one of the most critical weather events that we've been dealing with, Lee. We've been dealing with a lot of tornado warnings in the past couple of days associated with Tropical Storm Debby, and these are expected to continue through the next couple of days as Tropical Storm Debby makes its way to landfall in South Carolina later this evening and into the overnight hours.
That is right. And just a reminder, all of us in Columbus County, Brunswick County, New Hanover County, Pender County, it also goes up into Duplin County and Onslow County. All of these communities are under tornado watches. That's going to continue until 11 o'clock tonight. So the threat exists in many of our communities for at least these isolated tornadoes to potentially develop. In addition to that, some of the heaviest rain is moving across, the heaviest rain bands from Debby moving right across the Cape Fear right now. So these are producing blinding rain in some cases, just torrential downpours. I mean, remember that tropical systems, when you see these reds, we are talking about just humongous amounts of rain. These could easily produce 1, 2, 3 inches of rain. So we have numbers of concerns tonight, and one of them is for significant flash flooding. It's a night where I really recommend, if you don't have to do any traveling, go ahead and stay home tonight and just kind of weather the storm as we go through the night because of these issues with developing tropical storm winds along the coast and potential for isolated tornadoes and these very, very intense rain bands. Okay, if you're just tuning in, we have a tornado warning. It continues for another 7 minutes. This is for, right now, for the most part, this system has moved into southeastern Bladen County. Let me go ahead and take a current view of base velocity. I would point a couple of things out here. So, of course, here's East Arcadia. You got the river running just to the north, and you have a couple of things to note. Certainly some strong gusty winds in this vicinity and here approaching Carvers. Baltimore, Westbrook, that portion of the cell is moving toward you. And then kind of, again, seeing this little bit of a circulation here. Just we're keeping an eye on it right now. That's outside of the actual tornado warning box. To the west of it, it's south of Council. Moving to the northwest at around 25 miles per hour. So latest check here. Worst of the conditions, the good news is worst of the conditions, or at least for this tornado warning, sort of exiting that warning polygon summer.
That's right, and the National Weather Service did say that this will expire, this specific tornado warning will expire at 8 p.m. this evening. The storm that prompted this warning has weakened below severe limits and no longer appears capable of being able to produce a tornado. Therefore, the warning will be allowed to expire again at 8 p.m. So we do still have 5 minutes left of this warning. So there's still 5 minutes out there in this this rotation out there. We're still seeing it on the velocity map, and it's outside of the warning area at the moment. It's still moving in that northwest direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And everything's kind of broadened out a little bit, and I kind of thought that as we were looking at this, that most likely this was going to be allowed to expire at 8 o'clock. You can see that if we kind of draw here, we kind of see some broad rotation here. And we're just not looking at a whole lot that would be too concerning. Reds are kind of indicating a flow in here. Then you have kind of this flow in here. Not a lot, but we have about 5 or 6 more minutes of this tornado warning. Let's go ahead and carry this summer to 8 o'clock, and then we'll get into regular program because I do want to kind of brief folks. The threat here for this tornado warning has ended according to the Weather Service. We concur, but let's take a look at the big picture tonight. And we're 7:56, so we got maybe 3-4 more minutes here. So we're tracking Tropical Storm Debby tonight. Debby is centered about 40-50 miles east of Charleston. The biggest concerns tonight that we'll be dealing with is we have, first of all, the development of tropical storm force winds, especially closer to the coastline. We're going to see winds at times times 35, 40, even 50-mile-per-hour winds. This is outside of any sort of storm action that comes in associated with these bands. We're going to talk about the possibility for these isolated spin-up tornadoes. So this is going to be an issue as well, and we're going to be seeing that as we go through a tornado watch, in effect, for, let's say, another 3 hours. That goes to 11 o'clock tonight. Look at how this rain shield is moving from west to east. These are producing torrential downpours. I can show you accumulations here. I think this is really important to see. This is how much rain has fallen in the past 24
miles per hour late.
That is right. So if you come over here to Links 1, this is the new tornado warning is in effect for northeastern portions of Brunswick County. This is in effect until 8:30. We have had developing rotation. It is moving northwest, as Summer mentioned, around 30 miles per hour. If you are in Leland, go ahead and take cover as you are in the path of this storm. Here are the locations right now. You can see along moving in toward Highway 17. So you can see here, Night Harbor Drive southeast. Here's 17. It's going to be crossing there. If it hasn't already approached, it's going to be crossing 17 right now. Here are some of the locations just north of 17 and need to go ahead and get into your safe space right now. Gregory Road, some of these smaller communities, Palm Ridge Drive, Pine Harvest Drive, and then kind of zooming up a little bit north. Here's Landville Road. We were kind of mentioning that. And then here is Leland, so here's 74. So all of these areas are just out ahead of this circulation, which right now on rotation detector is showing pretty significant rotation just south of Highway 17, just south of Easy Hill. And let's flip on base velocity. So there it is. It's basically between River Road. There's a newest scan. We just got the newest scan between River Road southeast, approaching 17 at this point. So remember, these scans are a minute or two old when you get them, and it takes another minute or two to get a new scan. So remember, this could be 3-4 minutes. So we want everyone, basically from Spring Hill to Landville, to Easy Hill, to Claremont, then moving north. If you're watching us tonight in Leland, go ahead and take cover because you are under that tornado warning. Matter of fact, all of us here in the studio had our phones all go off at one time because we're under the tornado warning. So we're having to watch this closely here at the station too. This is moving, what did we say, northwest at?
Let me double check.
I want to put a storm track on this, Summer, so I just want to make sure we have this right.
30 miles per hour.
Excellent. Okay, so let's put a storm track on this. So it is expected to reach the Leland area in about 7 minutes. So now's your time. If you're in Leland, you're watching us, 7 minutes. Just go ahead as soon as you can and get in your safe space. Take your phone with you. You can watch us right now on the streaming. We're live streaming that information, so you can take it, get in your safe place, lowest level of your floor, lowest level of your home, central portion, away from windows. You want to be somewhere, a central portion of a hallway or a bathroom, anything that gets the most walls between you and the outside. As we have this Doppler indicated tornado warning, and this is in effect for northeastern portions of Brunswick County. And you can see, let me kind of try to clear this stuff out. What are you seeing over there, Summer?
So I am actually taking little measurements of the wind speeds, and at one point they were up to about 55 in some areas, but right now I'm only seeing about 48 as the maximum. But I do know a lot of apartment complexes are over in that area, so be sure to be in that most interior part of your apartment complex, and make sure to be in a safe place, really, as these are this is a radar indicated rotation that we're seeing here in parts of Brunswick County and in Leland, really. Easy Hill making its way out of that area by Old Fayetteville Road Northeast, Pine Harvest Drive, Redfield Drive, and Pool Road, Gregory Road, Northeast. So a lot of communities in this warning label here, Lee.
Yeah, just ahead of the storm, just ahead of that area of rotation is Leland. And so broadly, we're about 4 or 5 minutes away from this rotation area moving through Leland. So go ahead, as we've been telling you, and get into your safe space. Old Fayetteville Road Northeast, going to be crossing there very, very quickly, if not already, as this, again, we have these scans that come in every couple of minutes. So what you're seeing is one slice at one moment, and this thing is moving at about 30 miles per hour. So it's really coming quickly in toward the Leland area. Of course, as you can see, Landville Road going up to 74, Old Fayetteville Road. I want to go ahead and mention a few communities that are ahead of this tornado warning. So you can kind of see some of the other communities in northeastern Brunswick County. Malmo into the Phoenix area. Eastbrook, you're included in the tornado warning. So is Sandy Creek up into the northwest area, and Hooper Hill. So these communities are under a tornado warning right now. And so it's a good time to go ahead and just as quickly as you can get into your safe place. But it's really important in the Leland area, if you haven't done so yet, to do right now.
That's right, and Lee, we did just get another scan, so it's continuing to move in that northwest direction at 30 miles per hour. So that scan did just come in, and we're still seeing winds in about 40 mile per hour range, and those may even be upwards of about 48 miles per hour in some areas as it's approaching Leland. So again, if you're in those communities in Leland, be sure to be in your shelter in place, and as Lee has mentioned, take your phone with you or turn up your TV volume so you can still listen to us as we walk you through this tornado warning, and we'll be here with you every step of the way as this tornado warning is through 8:30 p.m. So as of our latest update on this tornado warning, still active until 8:30 p.m. So we still have about another 25 minutes of this tornado warning, and it's got a pretty large polygon, so it's still making its way in that northwest direction. So areas in like Eastbrook, Malamo, Phoenix, still, you guys are a little ahead of it, but still, you are a part of that tornado warning, and I'm sure all of your devices were going off alerting you, but you're in that tornado warning, and now would be a good place to be sure that you're in that safe location in a stable structure, whether that's your home or whatever building you happen to be in at the moment.
So this tornado is obviously rain-wrapped. We have tremendous amounts of rain moving across northern Brunswick County right now. On Links 1, I'm showing you the tornado watch, or tornado warning polygon, and you can see it's very quickly moving into the Leland area right now. The rotation, matter of fact, it's heading through and even north of Leland as we head over the next minute or two, as again, this is a 3 or 4 minute delay in what we're actually seeing with this Doppler radar with the scans. And so Leland is continuing to keep Malmo, Eastbrook, you're right out ahead of this. Look at I-40 East into the Phoenix area. Let's kind of zoom in. Enterprise Drive. These are some of the smaller communities that are going to be under the gun here as this rotation moves into your area. This Doppler indicated a potential tornado. And so we want you to go ahead and get in your safe place right now if you are in the northeastern portion of Brunswick County, anywhere in this tornado warning area. And some of the locations, again, right out ahead of it as it's moving to the north. Malmo, moving across the Leland area into Eastbrook, and eventually, probably in the next 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to be seeing it head towards Sandy Creek and Phoenix. And this tornado warning goes until 8:30 tonight. So we're continuing to watch that as well. Really quick look at the shear rate. Yeah, still impressive. I mean, this is a strong rotating signature here. So this is very, very important that folks have already gotten into their safe places right now, as it is very, very near the Leland area, and Malmo is heading up next for them.
That's right. Yeah, if it's not already if it's not already there, and it's going to continue, as you had mentioned, towards Sandy Creek and towards that northwest area. So those folks in that town, in those communities, need to already be in their sheltered location inside their home, or again, any stable structure that they're near. And if you're just tuning in, we do have a tornado warning in Brunswick County until 8:30 p.m. and this was radar indicated, and we're looking at the storm winds, those velocities. So really a big indication here that we are seeing this tornado warning. And if we switch it to look at some of the debris signatures, see if anything's popping up, there's a couple of bright reds in the area of Leland, northwest of Leland, but nothing too crazy there, which again is a good sign. But still, this tornado warning is expected to continue through 8:30 tonight, so we still have 20 minutes of this tornado warning, and be sure to be in your sheltered locations.
And a quick update, and I want to give you this from the National Weather Service, and this is a concern of additional flooding concerns as we head into the evening. They've now issued a flash flood warning for Bladen County, northern Columbus County, northern New Hanover County, Pender County, and southeastern Robeson County, and this is until 11:15 tonight. So this is going to be a three-hour flash flood warning. And if you're in these communities, and that's a good chunk of our area, it is not a good idea to travel tonight, because there's going to be too much risk at night where you could have flooding on highways. And this is where we really worry. We worry about these tropical systems bringing significant flash flooding. I just wanted to give that note really quickly.
Yeah, no, definitely very important, because especially the National Weather Service said additional rainfall amounts up to 4 inches are possible in these areas. So some of these areas are already seeing 2 to 4 and even isolated higher amounts. So 4 more inches on top of that definitely makes for some flash flooding risk there, Lee. And definitely don't drive at night, especially because you're not going to be able to see the flooded roads. Your car will flood, and you won't be in a good situation there. So definitely, just if you have the chance to, stay inside tonight, stay in your home, in your safe location, keep your weather radio on if you have one, and keep your alerts on your phone. Stay with us here at WWAY. You can tune into our live stream, and every step of the way we'll be here with you. Any tornado warning that pops up, we're going to continue to tune in and cut into whatever program is happening at the moment, and give you updates on this tornado warning as it continues throughout the evening hours.
So let's recap. We have a tornado warning in effect for portions of northern Brunswick County. We can give the all clear now, at least for that threat for rotation for Leland. So it is now north of Leland. It is trucking to the northwest at around 30 miles per hour. Next in line is going to be Sandy Creek. So notice here, this is where the strongest shear and the strongest rotation is being detected. Very near Malmo, moving basically along Malmo and to the north and to the west. Sandy Creek, right now, you need to be in your safe place. Some of the areas that are out ahead of this, Northwest Road, Sawmill Road Northeast, Granger Circle, these communities in here, Sandy Run Drive Northeast. These are all communities that are out ahead of this rotating cell that is moving to the northwest at around 30 miles per hour. Tornado warning continues for another 17 minutes. This was sort of one of those situations where we were tracking a tornado warning over parts of Pender and Columbus and Bladen, and then that expired, and then we had another cell that developed rotation in Brunswick County. We started this tornado warning about 8 o'clock. It's running until 8:30, so you can still see it has some significant rotation being detected by Doppler radar. And we want to flip over to base velocity, and you can see where the strongest winds are. Moving up around the Phoenix area, Mount Misery Road, Sawmill Road, Sandy Creek, moving into these communities pretty quickly. And to the north and west of that, you have the Evergreen area, Delco, Acme. These communities are outside of the tornado warning, but this storm is heading in your direction, so we'll be keeping an eye out for it there. Northwest currently is in that tornado warning, which runs until 8:30, and there is a lot of rain coming down in addition to this potential rotation summer.
That's right. Yeah, we actually did just get a photo too from somebody who's only down the road from our station, where there is some tremendous flooding out there at the moment. So it's not safe in most communities right now to be driving on the roads, as this heavy downpours out there. And if we look at some of this reflectivity, really where that tornado warning is by Sandy Creek and up towards Northwest, and even towards Gooseneck and Acme as well, some heavy rainfall, and that's only towards Brunswick County and Bladen County, but there's plenty more out there by Columbus County, areas of Bladen County still, Pender County, and even parts of New Hanover County still seeing some heavy rainfall. But and this is expected to continue through the next at least 12 hours, I would say, Lee, as we're seeing Tropical Storm Debby making its way to South Carolina, and it's bringing us more impacts today than we saw yesterday. We're still seeing these tornado warnings popping up and all this heavy rainfall that's being produced today.
One little quick note here. I'm looking at debris detector, and I just wanted to assure folks we're not seeing any debris lofted in the air. Does not mean that we couldn't be having some rotation in a tornado on the ground. It just means that we're not getting confirmation that that is the case on radar. So just wanted to point that out real quickly. So here's where we're at. It's 8:15 on this Wednesday evening, and we are seeing bands of rain associated with Tropical Storm Debby race across the area. We have been in the last couple of days seeing these tornado warnings that have cropped up associated with these bands. This is the reflectivity view of our tornado warning area. I'm going to turn that off and show you the shear rate. And again, so here is the shear rate has gone down a little bit, as you can see. That is some good sign. But I was mentioning Phoenix, remember that? And I was mentioning Sandy Creek, or areas that needed to take cover. And the strongest rotation detector is in those communities, which is moderate, and it is moving to the northwest. So next in line, we want to go ahead and make sure that folks are taking cover around the northwest area. Mount Misery Road, it's coming your way, and if it's not already here, it's going to be there within a minute or two. We have up to the north, Hooper Hill. This probably is 5 minutes away, maybe even 3-4 minutes away, where you're getting those strong winds, and you're getting some potential rotation associated with this cell. So we can give the all clear. As you look to the south, we can give the all clear for Leland. For a while, we had that cell move through, and you were talking about some pictures in Leland. We haven't heard of any touchdown associated with this tornado warning, but just getting some images, and I'm concerned about the flooding threat that's developing tonight, and I'm concerned about the tornado the risk as well. But I really think in the big picture that the flooding could be overshadowing the risk for tornadoes tonight.
That's right. Yeah, there is big potential here for flooding, and we're already seeing numerous flash flood warnings issued. There's been another one issued for Brunswick County in southeastern North Carolina, central Columbus County, and northern Horry County in South Carolina until 11:15 this evening. So some of these areas seeing about 6 inches of rain have already fallen in these areas, and amounts up to about 2 inches are still possible to fall tonight only in this area. So flash flood warning has been issued for those areas, and we're seeing numerous of these popping up today in the Cape Fear, as we are still continuing to feel the impacts from Tropical Storm Debby, and areas, as mentioned before, of really all of the Cape Fear are feeling these impacts and seeing numerous. We've seen numerous pictures already of some flooding out there, but continuing to see these downpours in these areas. Areas in this tornado warning as well, seeing these downpours by Northwest and Gooseneck again, Hooper Hill as well, and even north of that, Long Bluff Landing and the borough seeing these heavy downpours at the moment, Lee.
We have a tornado warning for another 12 minutes, and that is, again, the warning we're showing you right here on the screen on Links 1. And I want to point out a couple of things. One, the rotation came across the Leland area, moved to the north and to the west, and now has broadened out a little bit, and it is right in here. So if we do have, any threat right now, the northern portion of the county, it's right here, moving across the northwest area and moving up into the northern and western, northern and eastern portions of this polygon. But I did want to point something else out. There's a little bit of some weak rotation starting to show up on the southern end of this warning as well. So there is some additional rotation I'm kind of keeping an eye on. We're going to have to wait and see. If we look at shear rate, kind of see how that's a little something showing up there, Summer. So in addition to that shear showing up in northwest, which is, of course, as you can see north of Leland, there's also some development of some rotation down here in basically the far eastern portion of Brunswick County, almost right along the Cape Fear River. Let me zoom into this and kind of show you where this is. So this is along River Road southeast. So it's right in that far eastern portion of the box, the polygon area. There's a North Palm Drive between there and Plouffe Road southeast, just south of Easy Hill. So something we're keeping an eye on as well. So there's just little areas of rotation that just continue to come up, and it's because of just strong wind shear associated with Tropical Storm Debby, which, you know, if you've been following it, this is a storm that is crawling right now off the South Carolina coast, and it's not uncommon for these systems to produce spin-up tornadoes. Earlier today, there was a tornado that very likely touched down, and that was in southern Sampson County, and that did produce some damage. So that's why we're taking any tornado warnings very seriously tonight. And, you know, if you're in a tornado warning polygon, you need to take shelter.
That's right, yeah, and as Lee was mentioning, the other area of rotation, still no warnings on that yet, but we're still looking at that area of rotation, or no updated warning, excuse me, but still looking at that area of rotation there, and as Lee was mentioning, that's an area approaching towards Easy Hill by River Road southeast, and another scan just came through where we're still seeing that, and let's check out if the shear rate had increased, and it looks like it's still in that moderate, so this is just telling us basically if any rotation has been detected. And it's actually kind of interesting, as Lee has mentioned, it's right along that Cape Fear River there, just a little further inland from that towards Brunswick County, and that's exactly where the other system had started to rotate there. So as soon as it had crossed from New Hanover County, crossed Cape Fear River into Brunswick County, all of a sudden it just spun up really fast. So we're continuing to monitor that area as we do still have that other risk there for a potential tornado to spin up there. But still monitoring the area that this tornado warning was triggered by, and that's headed past northwest now and towards Gooseneck, continuing up in that northwest direction.
So it is in the far northeastern portion of the watch and far northern portions of Brunswick County, and we can kind of give the all clear to Mount Misery Road. Notice how the strongest circulation, strongest winds are to your north. It's moving away from northwest, and it's sort of to right around the Gooseneck area, and then moving along Hooper Hill. So basically a line from Hooper Hill to Gooseneck and to the north is where we're seeing, again, some broad rotation, keeping an eye on it. And there's a little bit of a signature there that is we're watching. But again, down here, keeping an eye on that area of a shear rate that's showing up. There we go. We can zoom it in. Approaching the Easy Hill area. I've been mentioning them. Plouffe Road southeast, right along and west of River Road southeast. So you can kind of see, if you look back here, there's US 17 North, Sunset Park, Wilmington, kind of gives you a visual of where we're talking about. So crossing the river, River Road southeast, some of these communities right in here, and we can show some of these. Eastwood Lane southeast, Windsor Drive southeast, where there is an indicator of some, and now it has moved into Easy Hill. And you know, these things are moving, you know, at 30 miles per hour. So one scan and the next scan, and it's pretty far to the northwest. So it is 8:23, and we are keeping an eye again on a tornado warning for a good bit of northeastern portions of Brunswick County. And because we have that second rotation developing summer to the south and to the east of Leland, folks in Leland, you know, just stay very aware that we're watching something else to the south of you as well.
That's right, yeah, and the National Weather Service did just let us know that the original tornado warning that's been put out that is expected to expire at 8:30 will expire at 8:30. So again, that storm that was capable of producing a tornado that prompted the warning no longer appears capable in that area. So, but still, keep your guard up, as Lee was mentioning, that other area of rotation that we're looking at now, some strong winds associated with that, and see if we could take any samples of those winds at the moment, see how strong they're getting. So up to 30 miles per hour in some area, 36 in some areas as well. So those are approaching some high wind speeds, and those are indicating to us that it's starting to maybe get some rotation there, even if it's weak rotation, still some rotation.
Yeah, and we're going to hold on to this until we get to 8:30, and if this tornado warning. When the tornado warning is dropped. So, but yeah, we're certainly the rotation was much tighter as we saw 8 o'clock come around, and we were looking at it, and we saw the strong signature of rotation, and clearly it's not as well organized. That's a very good thing. It's great to hear from the Weather Service that they're going to allow this tornado warning to expire, and that the threat has significantly lowered. That's some good news, but we still have a lot of things to pay attention to tonight. So if you're tuning in, we have been almost for about an hour been on the air because of a couple of tornado warnings. But let me just kind of review, since sort of the threat has generally come to an end for this tornado warning, let me kind of zoom out a little bit. And I just want to examine kind of if there are any other areas of concern rotation-wise. Not a whole lot out over the Atlantic right now to be too concerned about in terms of velocities and rotation areas. I think the messaging needs to be that as we go through the next 3 hours and the tornado watch continues, that we could see areas really quickly tighten up with the couplets and the vorticity rotating and give us these brief spin-up tropical tornadoes. And so we need to be on guard for that. Even more significantly could be the flash flood risk for tonight. This is going to be significant where you're seeing these rains. Eastern portions of, look at this, Robeson County. For our friends back in western Columbus County, I mean, it is absolutely coming down. Fair Bluff, Boardman, good evening, Bladenboro. I mean, it is coming down to beat the band. Clarkton, Elizabethtown, Dublin, right on the edge of Lumberton, and now let's kind of head toward East Arcadia, Bolton. And then you kind of get into Atkinson and Bladen County, and let's show you, as we get down into the Wilmington area, sort of a little break here developing in the rain, but there is more out to sea, and that's more, because these bands are basically working from east-southeast to west-northwest. So rain is going to be a concern. Numbers of flash flood warnings in effect right now. Tornado warning that the Weather Service is going to allow to expire in 3 minutes. The threat has ended for this rotation tornado warning. We're going to hold on to things for 3 more minutes, and then we're going to send it back to regular programming.
That's right. And if I'm looking at the rotation detector, not seeing much more popping up at the moment, but as Lee had mentioned, these spin up fast, especially with tropical systems. So we're going to be continuing to monitor this throughout the evening hours. And then as our shift changes, our other 2 meteorologists, Jason and Matthew, will be coming in and continuing to monitor these possibilities for these tornadoes to continue to spin up in the Cape Fear as Tropical Storm Debby is approaching closer to land every minute, very slowly, very slow moving system, but every minute we speak, it is moving closer to land before it makes landfall throughout the overnight hours tonight in South Carolina. So again, that tornado warning is expected to expire in about 2 minutes here, and as Lee had mentioned, we're going to continue to hold on to you guys for 2 more minutes. Even though the threat has weakened, that tornado warning is still in effect until 8:30 p.m. So we are going to continue to be on air until 8:30, and then if another warning pops up, we'll be right back here with you guys, walking you right through all the steps that you guys need to take and explaining what's happening and showing you some of the graphics that we're seeing here by the reflectivity in the radar.
And I have on links 1 showed rainfall totals. So this is how much rain has fallen over the past 24 hours. And you can see the extremely heavy nature of these tropical downpours as they move across the region. So let's kind of cue in and just get some idea of how much rain has fallen. almost 9 inches of rain in eastern portions of Brunswick County. As we get up toward the Leland area, 6 inches. We're talking upwards of essentially 4 to 9 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. So this is going to be a considerable concern as we go through tonight. It is 8:29. We've got another 2.5 hours of tornado watches. The risk for isolated tornadoes will be continuing through the night and into tomorrow as the circulation of Debby, which is crawling right now about 3 miles per hour, starts to move across northeast South Carolina, but still spreading rain our way. So it's going to be raining more tonight with those tropical storm winds on the coast, and again, the risk for isolated tornadoes. So it's going to be a long night, Summer.
That's right. Yeah, it sure will be. Especially as we're seeing more storms out in the Atlantic, more showers out there as these bands are going to continue to come into our area, and just like a fire hose, dumping rain in our areas. We had mentioned already 8 inches in some areas in only the past 24 hours.
So we're going to go ahead. It's 8:30. The tornado warning has expired. We're going to send it back to regular scheduled programming. And if another tornado warning is issued, we will continue to keep you updated, and we will break into coverage as needed. Be safe out there tonight, and we'll be here keeping a watch on things.